Hi, my name is Lori, and I just wanted to come on here to just talk about life and suffering and in speaking in dialectical terms or duality, how life can be so extremely painful and at the same time be joyful and happy and worth living. And for me, that's been hard. So I came on here to express how I feel, see if anybody else relates to me. I'm a very sensitive person. I have a lot of extreme emotions. I get I'm not diagnosed with borderline, but I feel like I have some of the characteristics because I have a lot of fear of abandonment in my relationships. I have extreme emotions. I get anxiety, all the things that go with borderline personality, like hating myself and then loving myself, and just hating life and then loving life. And it's hard for me to relate to other humans sometimes because I'm so deep, and people think that it's too extreme to think about life and to think about death. And so I just came on here to have a conversation about life and if anybody else can relate to extreme emotional pain, and then finding ways to make life worth living. Because, when you have mental health issues, people have told me, oh, I used to have depression and my doctor gave me medicine, but I was strong and I didn't take it. And I'm like, good for you. But for me, if I could explain things to them, and I don't, because, I just let them think whatever they want because I don't care. And I take antidepressants, and I try very, very hard to be happy, and most of the time I am happy. But what I would tell this person would be like, some people, it doesn't have anything to do with being strong or being weak. Sometimes people are born extremely sensitive or with chemical imbalances in their brain, genetics. It's mostly like your happiness, I've read that is half genetics, 40% what you do about it, and 10%, the 40% is kind of your lifestyle, and the other 10 is probably circumstances in your life, or how much money you have or your job. But the 40% that is lifestyle, I try really hard to be happy. I don't do it perfect, but this person that told me this has diabetes, and I could have been mean and said, well, I was pre-diabetic, but I was really strong and changed my diet, which is true. And I didn't, because I would tell her, you're weak, you have diabetes, you don't know how to control your blood sugar. But some people with diabetes, it has nothing to do with their diet. Sometimes it's like type 1 diabetes and you're just born with it, or and I don't tell her if somebody has high blood pressure or high cholesterol, they can't really be courageous enough to not have it. So for her to say that she had depression, but she was strong, so she didn't have to take the medicine, to me it means, well, it wasn't that bad, so thank God. But she can't judge people that need medicine, because there's mental illness for a reason. People that have mental health problems are diagnosed for a reason. It's not because they want to, or because there's anything that they're doing wrong, or sometimes so that's what I would tell her. But anyway, going back to just suffering and trying to make life worth living, the 40% that I can control, I eat really healthy, I exercise, I have loving relationships, I like to write, I like to do art, paint, watch movies, go out to eat, family time with my grandkids, go on dates with my boyfriend. So I think my life is really fun and is really blessed. But then I get triggered, and all of a sudden my life is really hard and it sucks, but it's the same life. So I don't know what the heck goes on in my brain, but other people that have the same problem can relate. And I told my boyfriend, when I get really upset and mad at you for no reason, just, I'm always gonna come back. I'm always gonna be okay, But the sad thing is that I always have to leave, my happiness, and that I guess everybody goes through that, but people with mental illness is more extreme. Nobody can be happy all the time. Nobody can be entertained all the time, or but I try really hard. And just the fact that life can be so incredibly painful for me, but then it can also be extremely joyous. And just my dreams come true. I always wanted to have healthy, happy daughters that went to college, that loved themselves, and that wish came true. And that, like, being a good mom has been one of the biggest accomplishments. And even though, because of my mental illness and my whatever vices I've had and stuff have hurt my kids, but I've always tried to make it up to them and be as good as I can. And breaking generational trauma has been a big factor in my life. Like, I want my granddaughter to be a princess, and she is so blessed to have two wonderful parents. And the only way that she can be a princess is if I wear my own crown, and I give the crown to my daughter so she could give it to her daughter. And that breaks generational trauma. And being a survivor, having been the fifth out of 6 children, to farm working parents, very busy. Like, it was like World War II, it was hard. And I'm not a victim because I'm a thriver, and I learned to work really hard and take care of myself and love myself. And when my mental illnesses doesn't get in the way, I really, really do feel like I'm learning to love myself, because I don't want to regret, when I die, and my energy will probably remember, like, Lori, you had a great life, you had a healthy, happy life. And so I don't want to regret anything. I want to live up to being a good example to young women, to especially my grandkids. I also have a grandson, and I want him to learn to be a good man, and to respect women, and to treat us the way that we deserve. And so it's been a journey. It's been nice to, have been raised Mexican American, first generation. And I'm 50 years old, and I want to live the second half of my life accepting the duality, that yes, life is freaking hard sometimes, and it's painful, and it's gonna pass. And thank God I got baptized a couple years ago again, and I started following Jesus. And I really need Jesus and God in my life, the Holy Spirit. People say that, Christians, they are judgmental, goody two-shoes, whatever. But I'm here to say that I'm a Christian because I really need Jesus, because I'm evil, and I have a lot of flaws, and the only person that can save me from this is Jesus. And when I get really, really sick with anxiety and OCD and intrusive thoughts and all this despair, I get a little like discouraged, and talk to Jesus, and I just tell Jesus, Jesus, I don't like having this, but give me strength, and thank you for being with me through this. And it doesn't make sense to like, I don't understand the purpose of my mental illness. Like, Jesus, why did you deal me this card in my life? I was born very sensitive, and on top of that, I had trauma. So then I developed this personality that has a lot of fear, a lot of doubts, a lot of just crazy emotions like rage and jealousy, and then there's another part of me, the true me, that's confident, kind, godly, generous, hardworking, do service. And Jesus is the only one that can help me get there, to be the true me, and the personality that was warped by my life can only be healed through doing a lot of work, staying with Jesus, doing a lot of inner child work, a lot of meditation, praying, and taking care of my physical body through my diet, my exercise, my sleep, lowering my stress. I am on a weight loss journey because I got diagnosed with narcolepsy, and it's all better now because I take medicine. But when I had it, all the medication changes and the extreme sleepiness and fatigue, I gained 40 pounds. So I'm on a weight loss journey again, and hopefully, 2026, I can be consistent, and I can be disciplined. And thank you guys for listening. I don't know what else to say. I'm just kind of like rambling on because I need somebody to listen, and maybe you guys can relate and tell me how you guys stay happy through mental illness, through just life being extremely hard, and how you stay strong, and how you make your life worth living. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.